For decades, John Denver was the golden voice behind some of America's most beloved songs. With his acoustic guitar, heartfelt lyrics, and iconic hits like Take Me Home, Country Roads, and Any Song, he became a musical legend. But while fans admired his gentle voice and nature-loving spirit, the story behind the man and the woman who inspired his most intimate songs was far more complex. And now, at 78, Annie Denver, the woman who was once at the heart of John's life, is finally speaking up. And what she's revealing about their time together is stirring up everything we thought we knew. It's been years since John Denver passed away in a tragic plane crash in 1997, but his legacy lives on not just through his music, but through the memories held by those who truly knew him. And no one knew John better than Annie Martell Denver, his first wife and the inspiration behind Any Song, one of the most romantic ballads ever written. Fans often imagined their relationship as picture-perfect, a love story wrapped in mountain air, music, and magic. But according to Annie, the reality was far more bittersweet. John had two sides, and he shared in a rare and emotional interview. The man the world saw on stage, that joyful, free-spirited artist, was real. But he also carried a lot of pain, pressure, and struggle behind the scenes. Their love began beautifully. They met in the late 1960s, when John was still an up-and-coming musician. Annie was there before the fame, before the sold-out concerts, before the gold records. She believed in him, and for a while, that belief fueled their romance. John wrote Any Song in just 10 minutes after a ski run in Aspen, saying it came to him like a rush of emotion. It was his musical love letter to her, and fans were swept away. But what the world didn't see was the toll that fame began to take. As John's career skyrocketed, so did the pressure. Constant touring, endless interviews, and the burden of being America's voice of peace and love wore him down. Annie admitted that the spotlight became a third person in their marriage. We were losing each other, she said. Not because we stopped loving, but because the world kept pulling us apart. Rumors of tension and emotional distance began to surface in the late 70s. And by 1982, the couple divorced. But Annie never told her side until now. There were times he was angry, times he was lost. And yes, there were times I was afraid, she revealed. But I also knew how deeply he loved. He wasn't perfect, neither was I. But we shared something very real. And he confirmed the long-whispered rumor that John struggled with mood swings and emotional outbursts, something he kept hidden from the public eye. He battled demons, she said softly, and he didn't always win. At one point, she admitted that John's darker moods affected their home life, making it difficult to communicate or reconnect. There were beautiful days, she said, but also painful ones, and yet, despite everything, Annie never stopped admiring his artistry. She remembers him writing late into the night, crafting songs that still echo through time. He could capture emotion in a melody like no one else, she said. Even if we were hurting, he found beauty in that pain. After their divorce, they remained somewhat distant, though Annie always kept a quiet respect for him. I wasn't angry, she explained. I was sad. Sad that two people who loved each other couldn't make it last. When John died in 1997, Annie was devastated. She didn't speak publicly. She didn't release a statement. Instead, she mourned privately, away from cameras and microphones. It broke my heart, she admitted. There was still so much left unsaid. Now, decades later, Annie is finally letting the world see the full picture, the good, the bad, and the deeply human side of John Denver. She's not rewriting history. She's revealing it. People ask if I still listen to Any Song. She says with a smile, I do, not every day, but when I do, it takes me back to the snow, the laughter, the music, to a love that was imperfect but real. And that's what fans are now learning. Behind the legend was a man of passion, complexity, and deep vulnerability. A man who gave his heart to the world, and to Annie, in ways we're only now beginning to understand. So when you hear his voice float over the radio, singing about the mountains, the stars, and the endless sky, remember this: those songs came from a place of love, loss, and a life that wasn't always easy. And thanks to Annie, the truth about John Denver is finally clear. He was more than a voice. He was a man who felt deeply, lived fully, and left behind a legacy that will forever echo through the hills.